You had to have thought.
Tom might have thought, he might remember our meeting a little bit differently. I thought it was cool. Anyway,
right.
Let's keep going.
We better keep going.
So. Well, hi, I'm Dawn from The Minimal Mom. If we haven't met before, I am married to Tom and we have 4 kids ages 5 through 10. And once in a while, my twin sister Diana pops in as well. We love talking about family minimalism and we love sharing tips and tricks about how you can simplify your house quickly, because living in a simplified house is awesome. It's so good and it just keeps getting better. And so we've lived as a minimalist for about 6 years now. And so today we want to look back. We are 2.5 years in, 200,000 subscribers. And so we kind of want to look back over the last year, the last 150 videos. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
When you think of it that way. And also kind of answer the question, where did we think we would be right now? So 12 years ago when Tom and I got married, like, where did we think we would be? So let's back up a little bit. So Diana and I, we grew up on a farm outside of the Twin Cities in Minnesota, which was great. Our parents are the hardest working people we know. And somehow we talked about this in our last video, which we'll link to, when we celebrated 100,000 subscribers, but we found ourselves in radio. So it was really cool.
I always knew I'd be on radio.
Okay, that's true. Because when we were growing up, I'll tell one quick growing up story, then we'll keep this moving forward. At Subway by us, one of the DJs from the morning show on the country radio station, so one of the Twin Cities stations, like a big station, he was there doing a like remote live broadcast. And you got to meet him, and like it was from that moment on, Diana was like, I will do this someday.
But let's think about how ironic this was. The poor guy was at Subway on a Saturday afternoon doing a live broadcast, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. It was definitely the being on the radio part that stood out to me. And I mean, just my voice being heard, so that's just me.
Yeah. And so meanwhile, Tom was growing up about 3.5 hours away from us.
I'd say 3, yeah.
Northwest, out in the country. Your family had a manufacturing business.
Yeah, so middle of nowhere, Minnesota, we had a manufacturing business that then the plan was for me to take it over and expand it.
Yeah. And so we mentioned this in a Facebook Live, but how Tom and I met was that he and Diana dated for a little bit. And so we're not gonna go into that.
Everybody's gotta meet somehow.
Anyway.
Hey, it worked. We're here.
Yeah.
We're all here today.
So the first time I met Tom, though, this was kind of funny, was my brother and I had bought a house and we were living together working, and we wanted to rent out the basement. And so I was doing mostly I had to do the like updating projects in this house because Eric was
your
working
brother wasn't gonna do
all the time, and he just worked a ton like during that time. And so Tom actually came down to help with some of the projects that we're doing so we could get it done and get a renter in there. So that was the first time we met, was Tom drove all the way down there to where we were living, and he helped with home improvement projects. And so
and were you like, wow, hey, this guy is handy?
Yeah.
I think that we came together.
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, no.
Yeah,
so exactly. The first time I was just meeting Diana's new boyfriend. He's handy, that's cool. And so,
okay, so you didn't think anything more than
that.
that.
Let's blow past all this.
You had to have thought.
Tom might have thought, he might remember our meeting a little bit differently. I thought it was cool. Anyway, let's keep going.
We better keep going.
So then we fast forward, and
here's the deal. I wore her down like, what is it, 5 years later?
Well, so from there,
a while later.
So at this time, Diana was living north of the Twin Cities. I was living south. We were like 2 hours apart, 2.5 hours. And so I decided, like, there was nothing keeping me where I was living, so I moved up to be closer to Diana and so we could hang out again.
And to see my boyfriend more often, clearly.
Yeah. They had broken up by then. I did not have any friends. There was a big gap.
There was a couple year gap.
There was a big gap
between there.
I didn't have any friends. So Tom was like the only person I knew. Not that that was the only reason. We just always got along.
Lack of options, I see.
We always got along. And so, like, Tom had come down to my parents' house, so I would see him there. So I'd gotten to know him over this time.
Right.
We always got
a lot,
along well.
Not like a couple times.
Yeah, so I knew him fairly well. So now we're here living north of the Twin Cities, still an hour from home. And so I was like, hey, so you're the only friend I know. So we hung out together, worked out together, you know, just,
Did
it was
most things together.
You probably fixed your car one or
church
two
stuff.
times.
I think I recall. So I fixed all your cars a lot, both of your cars.
Yeah.
I do recall that we would go not on dates. We were out.
Yeah, we were just friends.
We were just friends.
Yeah, and we would tell everybody.
So Dawn was a server, and we would go to eat at that restaurant, and people would be like, and Dawn was always like, no, this is like a never gonna happen type of thing.
Yeah. So, after a little while though, we were doing like college ministry together and stuff. I was graduating from college by this point. We were just working, we were all working. Diana had been at the radio station a while. I had joined her there. And then after a little while, it was like I started seeing Tom differently, and I was like, oh.
And I was like, finally, it's about time.
Yeah. And so we started dating. We got engaged like 6 months later, married, you know, 6 months after that.
And the quote of the century is my dad, who said, I always thought Dawn would be better with Tom.
Yeah,
so kind of sealed the deal.
Yeah,
so we knew this was fate. I was just a bridge, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It worked out.
You look nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Woo!
And so really when we got married, we thought eventually Tom would be taking over the manufacturing business. And I think you and I thought that eventually, like when you're in radio, you want to keep working up markets, right? That the end goal would have been to be in the Twin Cities at one of the radio stations there doing like a morning show or even like a syndicated show or something like that. And so I think if we would have said, where are you guys going to be in 12 years? It would have been like, well, Tom will be running a manufacturing business. We might be flipping houses like on the side for fun.
Yeah, because we always like that.
We liked that.
Yep.
Working in radio, have a few kids, and still living up there.
I'll be at Subway on the weekends doing live broadcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we had parades, all that fun stuff.
Lots of parades.
Yeah. Yeah, we did do a lot of parades.
Not this year.
Yeah, no. And so I think that was just kind of the course that we thought we were heading. Pretty quickly after we got married, the manufacturing business, that was off the table. And then like I left radio, stay home with the kids. And so then it was just kind of like, well, we should move back down closer to our parents to be by their farm, be by them. So I moved down here. Never would have thought in a million years that we could live on this property, on this farm. We have a separate video where I talk about how it was like my dream property, which you might look at it and be like, oh, really? That's interesting. So I'll link to that video down below. But long story short, I mean, I think for any of us now to think we'd be sitting here celebrating 200,000 subscribers, and then to think that my main message would be minimalism and simple living. I mean, I've always been a fairly simple person, but to think I would be like preaching about that I would have been the furthest. And what's so funny is that even, so Tom and I went to look at a car.
Imagine that.
Yeah, not surprising. We have another extra video about that too, I'll link down below. Anyways, just recently we went to look at a car, and I was making small talk with the wife, and she's like, oh, what do you do for a living? And I was like, sell real estate. Like even recently, I'm like, it's so weird to say like, this is what you do, or to explain it to people, or for them to believe you. I don't know, I assume people aren't gonna believe me either. If I say like, I have a YouTube channel.
Like,
no, they're gonna be like, oh, are you actually 14?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, makeup and like, so it's funny. So even now, like, I don't really tell people. I don't know. I still think we have friends and family that don't know about it.
No, and even like our neighbors and stuff, I don't know that they know what we do.
No, yeah. And so I think what's fun is like over this past year, looking more specifically over this last year, is you've gotten to see more of what we really enjoy doing, which is like the DIY projects, the home remodeling. Doesn't mean it doesn't come without its share of like drama and heartache and frustrations. Oh my. Part 2.
Round 2.
Holy cow.
I feel like we just opened up a can of worms.
I have a box here. Do you think we can do you think it'll all fit in there? But it has been fun to get to share more of that.
Well, and I know one of the questions that comes up a lot is, you know, we see it looks like you guys work together really well. So like, how is that collaboration on the projects even behind the scenes?
So it usually goes something like this. Hey Tom, what if we did this? Tom, that would never work. So this is what I do to relax, is I come up with ideas.
Projects for Tom.
For the house. So I have seen, this porch is actually off of a house from Fixer Upper that they did. And I really liked the porch when I saw the finished house. So I found a picture of it online, and then I used the pieces of it in Photoshop to, I know
Did you have to scale it too, or was it the right scale?
No, I
scaled it.
And then I sent it to Tom and said, we don't have to do this now, it's just an idea. Obviously it was in the winter when there was snow.
I don't think she said we don't have to do this now. Well, here's the thing. I think that Dawn
He can't see inside my head.
Dawn, well no, and then I've told her that a lot. I'm visual, I need to physically see it.
So then I mock it up on my computer. Or draw.
Or draw. Yep. I draw it.
But so you have to go back to my history. I did manufacturing. We did engineering, design,
He's like, submit
and
the blueprints.
And I think, okay, well, I need to see this from a mechanical standpoint. How does it actually function? Your drawing may be cute, but sorry.
Yeah, like I need 2 scale dimensions.
Okay, so Tom just opened up the porch to reframe everything, and I was like, hold it. Stop right there before you put anything back how we were just talking about. So we're gonna come stand out on the driveway, and I'm gonna show you what I'm seeing right now. All right, Tom, what's your thought?
This is how this always happens. Apparently they heard about this destruction.
Is that my parents?
That's your mom's vehicle.
Tom's going to try and head them off so he can tell them to say they don't like it.
See, they hate it.
So most ideas, by the time they get to this point of actually doing it,
reiteration
it's like 2 years of me wearing Tom down. And then it's like this magical point where like something clicks and he like finally understands what it was I was saying or thinking in my head. And then it's like, let's go to Menards.
There have been plenty of times where you're like, oh yeah, I see what you're saying. That's not.
Oh yeah, no. There's times where he has to like make adjustments to it, or like say, well, that like structurally will not work. But usually, like at some point, we get on the same page, and then it's like all in. Like right now, it doesn't matter what time of day it is.
Right. The other scenario that happens is Dawn will mention something that I had already been thinking in my head about doing. Then I'm halfway to Menards before she gets done.
Then it's a no-brainer.
We're like, let's do it.
And it's done.
So we decided to do the deck, but here's what happened. So last Friday we asked you which $500 project should we do next. And I had like not even turned off the camera, and Tom was out here backing his truck out to pull out bushes.
No, I think we probably work better together than we give ourselves credit for. And I think anytime, in any relationship, it's, I mean, with remodeling especially. All right, so this is our final decision. No regrets, no changes. 1, 2, 3. What is your... So I've learned to just let Tom do his thing, right? Because it always turns out, even if it's not how I would do it.
This is where Tom just wants to like push it in and make it
ram
fit.
it in and just be done with it. But then Dawn gets out of camera and I have to make it right.
Structurally, all that kind of stuff, that's all you. Yeah.
Which is good.
Stenciling the wall, painting the cabinets blue, like and then he lets me have that latitude too.
Although Tom's stenciled flower, I thought was outstanding.
True.
Ooh, now you're getting some nice variation there.
Can't wait till I peel this off and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that I made fun of you.
we'll just see.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, you would never even know it because somebody painted over it.
And actually, Tom is very good at picking paint colors. He picked out this blue paint color, so.
Well, and so obviously we've seen, I mean, this year you've tackled a ton of projects. Flipping the stairs was a big one. You know, the camper, outside you're adding a deck, the exterior of the home. So I know a question too is, are you ever gonna run out of projects? And then what are we gonna do on Friday?
Yeah.
There will never ever be an ending of projects, ever. Never, ever, ever.
On Tuesday, then I get an email from our new insurance provider, and he's like, there's kind of some problems with your property.
What do you mean?
we need you to address the broken windows, the missing siding, the doorway covered with plywood, just making our place sound like really trashy. Yeah, no, I don't think, man, for at least the next 3 years, I don't think we have to worry about running out of projects.
5 to 10 easily.
Yeah.
Do you have any really big ones coming up?
All right, really big, we're planning on picking up the 40 by 80 pole shed that Dawn does not like looking at out of our kitchen window, which I think is a fantastic building. We're planning on picking that up and relocating it.
Yeah.
Potentially this year yet.
Yeah.
I think so many of us are jealous that you can just imagine it in your mind and then your husband can do it.
I love someone left a comment last weekend that said, oh, we marry the whole man when we get married, right? So we don't get to just pick and choose the parts to marry. Got the whole man here, so that was funny.
Even if there is some tension along the way, I mean, not many of us could move a pole shed.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I think it's fun. I feel like, I mean, I do feel like in a lot of ways that our skill sets and our, like, what's fun for us, like on a Friday night, like going to Menards.
What?
Yeah, it looks good.
You love it? All right, so this whole time, Dawn's been leaning towards closing it up because...
I liked the idea of the open railing. It's just that the project was getting so big. Of course, the other side is, I mean, a lot of times projects go undone for a very long time. Well, so Tom committed to me that if we did this, that by the end of the weekend, it would be insulated and sheetrocked again, so.
Yeah, did you guys hear that?
So, if you follow us,
I didn't realize what day of the week it was when I said that.
And so what's crazy is, I mean, now you and I have created 52 more like faith and simple living videos.
Do we look good? Do you have lip color on?
I do.
Okay.
I have your foundation on too.
Oh,
Can you tell?
looks nice.
I don't think you can tell. Well. Should we start with
How now, brown cow?
Alright. Okay. Well, hi, I'm Dawn from The Minimal Mom.
I'm amazed that we've kept up at it so well, like,
So this is one thing I've learned about Dawn over the last 2 years, is she is very, like, if Dawn says she is going to do something, she is going to do it, and she is going to do it every time, no matter what it takes. She will do it.
And she might not tell you that she's gonna do it because she might just want to do it. And then you find out
So
later.
I keep dragging Diana along every Sunday morning.
No, we never would have guessed 10 years ago that you would be the one kind of leading the way. And
that's what I was gonna say.
Diana thought it would be her.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Did you ever think that you would be like on my stage? Like,
no, this is
it's so backwards.
It's a fun turning of the tables, but Sundays have been awesome. And I know there's been a lot of encouragement. A lot of people have been touched by it. And so yeah, we're gonna keep going.
Oh yeah, it's been awesome. In fact, you can link down below to a faith video for this Sunday, for today as well. So we'll put a link down there for that too. If you're still with us. So yeah, I guess though, I mean, to really like look back and to be like, it feels like a dream a little bit to get to be here and to have your support, and you keep watching and cheering us on. I mean, it's awesome. It's a joy. I mean, it's so much fun. I mean, there's stress, don't get me wrong, along with it.
Coolant temperature. Why we got a coolant temperature issue? Come on, it's the only one we got. You pull on the hood. There you go. There was a cat in there.
Oh no!
It's alive.
Oh my gosh!
Come on, cat.
So what we weren't expecting to see was a cat.
Just hanging out in the engine bay.
Which unfortunately we have had happen before, where they just crawl in because it's warm or something, and then, but the cat was okay, so we brought it back home, put it back in the barn. No animals were harmed during the making of this video. But it's been so much fun to get to make these videos and to get to share a little piece of our life with you, and then to hear your stories in return. I mean, I know often if we do get the chance to meet, you'll say, I feel like we know you, but we honestly feel like we know you too. Like when we meet you, it feels like we're meeting a friend.
Yeah. And if you've never been one who like reads the comments, like that was never my thing on YouTube until we started doing this. You should read the comments. Like, people are awesome. They have good input, they have good stories, you know, and they're so encouraging. It's like such a fun community of people that's been established.
Yeah. So thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting, subscribing, thumbs up. It really is helpful to us when you do those things. So we are indebted and so appreciative of it. But we love you, and we'll visit with you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I didn't know if I was gonna get it out.
Stop! Stop! It's gonna snow. You just have to get used to it. It's gonna happen.
You've heard it all before. Honest, but I know. Left these years ago. I was young and almost still can't fill the void. We don't need the past in our lives for tomorrow. Never see the end of the night filled with sorrow. What do we do to love? What do we do to love? What do we do to love? When everything's said and done. What do we do to love? What do we do to love? What do we do to love? When everything's said and done. What do we do to love? What do we do to love?